Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Wine. Welcome back to art class. Today is day 2 of our Expressionist Portrait project. Our learning target says, I will practice blending colors and learn about color schemes, learn about different groups of colors. And remember, this project is all about how we can use the element of color to express feelings. How could I use color in my portrait to show someone was sad or happy or excited? So those are the colors you want to think about as you practice today. The material that we're going to be using today are chalk pastels. So before we start practicing, there are a few things we need to know. First of all, when you're using chalk pastels, you always want to make sure that you touch them with just one hand, because when you touch them, they're going to come off on your fingers, and you don't want your fingers to get too dirty. You want to make sure you leave one hand clean to hold your paper. If you're using a chalk and it's dirty, you're going to have a napkin or a paper towel. You can just take that paper towel and sort of pinch the end of the pastel, and it'll clean it right off. When you're drawing and coloring with the pastels, use your clean hand to hold the paper, and you want to make sure that you always color or draw with a soft pressure. I'm going to zoom in for just a second. If I color and I press really, really hard, you can see a lot of dust starts to build up. And if too much dust builds up, it makes your paper smudgy and smeary, and then your hands get even dirtier. You also want to be careful not to take your hand and accidentally wipe it across your page, because then your whole hand is dirty and your paper's a dirty mess. You will get wipes at the end of class to clean your hands. So now that you know the basics, we're ready to get started. I did forget one thing. If you do have a little bit of dust, you don't wipe it off, you don't blow it in your neighbor's face, you just pick your paper up, give it a quick shake in the floor, and we can clean the dust up later. So now, we're ready to get started. You're going to have a chalk pastel worksheet today. Make sure you start by placing your name at the top. Then, we're going to be working row by row. Notice the first direction says you're going to use one color with a change in value, dark to light. So you could pick any color you want. Think about how you want to use color to show a feeling. Maybe I want to show happy, so I could try with that orange that I had just a moment ago. So value means dark to light. So I'm going to take my color, and I'm not going to press really hard, but I could press with a medium pressure. It comes off pretty dark. And then I want to press softer and softer. I'm just barely writing. And when I get out to about the word light, I'm going to stop. Now notice I didn't even try to color in all the peekaboos. That's where we're going to be able to use a napkin or a paper towel. You can tear off a small piece, and you can either wrap it around your finger to blend, or you can just sort of take it and crumple and twist it up. Then we're going to blend this into the paper, working from left to right, just like we would read. So I'm going to start with the left, and I'm blending the pastel. And now, even though I didn't write on my paper, there's pastel on my napkin. So as I continue to blend, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. One color, dark to light. You can pause the video now and practice this technique. And then we'll come back with the second one in just a moment. Next, we're going to be working on two different values of the same color. So it gives the example of light blue and dark blue. You could use a light and dark of any color. Remember that sometimes a color that might have a different name would be a light color. For example, orange and peach. I think I'm going to try, though, that dark blue and that light blue. So I'm cleaning off my pastels. I'm only touching them with one hand. And now I'm ready. I'm going to start with the dark color, but it really doesn't matter which one you start with. And I'm going to color in that box. Again, not pressing hard. Not worrying about the peekaboo spaces. Just trying to color in most of the box. And I'm going to stop when I get to the word blended. Remember, blending colors means I'm using two colors together. So now I'm going to take the light blue, and right here in the middle, I'm going to overlap those two colors. I'm coloring the light blue right on top of the dark blue. And now I'm just going to finish the light blue all the way out to the end. Once I have done that, I'm ready for my napkin. I'm going to tear off a little piece, either twist it around my finger or just twist it up. And again, it's important. I'm not just scrubbing all over the paper. I'm not making a mess. I'm going to start on the left and work my way to the right. So I'm starting on the left, pushing that dark blue into the paper. Now I'm blending the light blue and the dark blue together. And then I finish with just the light blue. Notice this built up a little more dust because I had a little more pastel. So I'm going to take my paper, give it a shake in the floor, and now you can see dark blue gradually changes to light blue. Again, this is a good time to pause the video and try this row on your own. The third box says blend two analogous colors. Analogous colors are two colors on the color wheel that are side by side. They're touching each other. So it could be red and orange, or orange and yellow, or yellow and green, or blue and green, blue and violet, or violet and red. Pick any two colors, but make sure those two colors touch. I think I had that blue. I think I'm going to try blending a light blue and a green. Blue and green touch each other. Maybe I want to create a drawing where the person looks calm, and maybe those colors make me think of calm. So I'm going to get my colors, make sure they're cleaned off. And again, this is a good place to take notes. I'm going to try blending blue and green. That'll help me remember later, analogous. I can look at the color wheel. I'm like, oh yes, blue and green are the two that touch. So here I go. I'm going to start with the blue. And I'm going to color that box with a soft pressure. When I get out to where the word blue is, I'm going to stop with that color. Then remember, I'm blending. Blending means overlapping. So now I'm going to take the green and I'm going to start where the word says blended. I'm going to overlap and add that green into the blue. And then I'm going to finish the whole row with just green. Now I'm ready for my napkin. Tear off another section, wrap it around my finger or twist it up, and then blending those colors left to right just like I would read. So I'm starting with the light blue, and now I'm blending that blue and green together. And I get out to the end and I just have green. And where that dust is built up on my paper, give it a nice gentle shake. And then you see what those two colors look like blended together. I have that nice aqua color, a blue-green. The last box for blending colors has another vocabulary word. 2 complementary colors. On the color wheel, complementary colors are the ones that are straight across from each other. They are opposites. So if I start at the violet and I draw a line straight through the middle, I'm going to get to the complement. The opposite or the complement of violet is yellow. Same thing. If I start up here, the opposite of red is green. Or if I want to use that blue, the opposite of blue is orange. You have to go straight across. Complementary colors create a lot of contrast. So maybe if you were trying to create a feeling where things were clashing and not going together, that would be a good combination. I've already used orange and blue, so I wonder what it would look like if I tried them. Let me try that. I'm going to say again with the blue and orange. And this time I think I'll go back to that dark blue. So I'm taking my dark blue. I'm going to color the first half of my box. When I get out to where the word blue is, I can stop. Then I'm going to take my orange, and remember to blend, I have to overlap the colors. So I'm going to start here where the word blended is. And I'm going to color that orange right on top of the blue. And then I finish with the orange. What do I do next? That's right. I'm going to take my paper towel, wrap it around my finger, or twist it up, and blend starting left to right. So I start with just the blue, so I see what just the blue looks like. Now I'm mixing the two together. And then I finish with just the orange. Shake off the dust. And what do I notice? When I blend complementary colors together, it gives me kind of a brown color. So you have to be careful about blending those opposite colors, because any opposite color group is going to give you a color that's kind of brown. And you have to think about, is that combination going to show the feeling? I mentioned showing a feeling of like things that contrast or things that don't get along, so maybe that brown would work. So you have to think carefully. Once you're finished, you have the last part of your paper, and that's where you're really going to start to think about what 4 feelings are you thinking about creating. Then you're going to circle the feeling that you want and think about what 2 colors are going to work best to show that. When you're all the way finished with your work today, you'll get a wipe to clean your hands. I hope you have fun learning about blending colors. I can't wait to see the color combinations you create with your chalk pastels. Until next time, keep on creating.